Miracles don't just happen in the Bible. The miracles happen today. I had a voice in my head said, it's your turn.
Who do you think the voice was?
It was from God. 4 or 5 miracles. Wait, what the heck is this? It's a brand new backpack sitting there. Everything that he named that he wanted to buy was in that backpack, including a note that said, I don't know who this is for, but God heard your prayers. I'm not even kidding you. She ends up checking an account. We have like $1,200 in there. They had no trace of how that money got into it. You know the book, The Secret? It's not a secret. It's in plain sight the whole time. It's all in the Bible. There's manipulation in manifestation. You know, yeah, I manifested and I don't have to believe. Well, yeah, the devil wants you to think that. I'm lifting off over my body. I saw Jesus. Jesus turns his face and he goes,
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs today in the studio, folks. I got a real treat for you, especially if you like miracles. My man, Nick Terekhov. What's happening?
Not much, man.
This guy's an author, a businessman, an entrepreneur, came to America from Ukraine when he was about 4 years old. He's into fitness, the keto diet, cold showers and baths only, 100% natural lifestyle. And now the author of Miracle Mountain, Faith of a Mustard Seed.
That's me.
What made you write this book?
Well, you know Andy Elliott.
Yes.
So I had an event up there in Arizona probably about 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And I met them. We went to the gym. It's called The Hive over there. That's where they work out. And we met the owner there, and really nice guy. I think we worked out for like 3 days, so we got to know each other pretty well. And he wrote a book. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, you know. So I've always told myself that I probably need to write a book, but I never really like just, you know, never really put just did it. And so I bought his book, and I started reading it, and then I had a voice in my head said, it's your turn. So I came home, I sat down, started writing. I wrote the book in 7 days. Just from morning to evening I wrote. And then, a voice told me it's your turn, and I just wrote it.
Who do you think the voice was?
It was from God.
Are you very religious?
I have a relationship. I wouldn't call it religious. I have a relationship with God. I'm very careful when I, you know, say religious or Christianity, you know, in itself. So.
Well, this is a story of undeniable faith, relentless struggles, and undeniable miracles. What are some of the miracles that have happened in your life?
Well, my son is a big one.
Why so?
Well, we couldn't have kids we've been married. We'll be married 20 years next month. We'll be married 20 years.
Did you get married when you were 10?
19. We were both 19.
Right on.
Super young. And we went through probably about 3 miscarriages, maybe 4. And so just got checked and stuff. The doctor's like, oh yeah, we don't know what. It's one of those, like, they couldn't really pinpoint. We were both healthy. They couldn't pinpoint why couldn't have kids. I remember there was one day she ran across some social media quote, and it said, if you're trying to have kids and you're not, that means God's hand is still upon you, you know? And I believe sometimes God protects you from that when it's not your time yet, especially if you're walking in his name, you know? So I believe he was doing that. And yeah, we couldn't have kids. And there was just one day, it was kind of different. So Miracle Mountain is actually a mountain where in that book, there's like probably 4 or 5 miracles that actually happened from that mountain. Like it's like.
Is this a place?
Yeah, it's a place. Yeah.
In Seattle?
Yeah,
where?
it's in Cle Elum. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big hunter. So I started hunting. That was like my first area where I started hunting. And some of the stuff that I proclaimed actually came to pass in that mountain.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to cause everybody to go up to that mountain.
Yeah, I will. Probably, maybe.
So you were on the mountain, and what happened?
So with his story, I actually didn't find out. I didn't put two and two together actually until probably like when I started writing the book. So I told one of my employees, I started telling him the stories. And so there's one in particular day I'm like, hey, come hunting with me, And I've already had multiple miracles come off this mountain.
Like what so far?
So, people might think it'd be like, I'm childish a little bit when it comes to God. I had a hunting partner back then, and when I'd go hunting, I just proclaim stuff. Like my first miracle was like, we were going up there. I have never shot an animal before, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm gonna get a buck. We're gonna get one today. And we're driving. I was like, we're gonna get one. So the minimum over there is like a 3x3. So we're like, I'm like, oh yeah, we'll get our 3x3, and we'll sit there for a couple hours, and I'm telling this to my buddy, and we'll sit there for a couple hours, and buck will come out 200 yards. We'll drop him, and we're just, it's almost like kids, but I'm like a child when it comes to faith, And so I'm like, no. I'm like, so I told him, these are my words exactly. I was like, God doesn't play small, he plays big, So I told him, we'll get a 5x. And he's going to come out during shooting hour. That's right when shooting hour, right when the sun comes up. I said, he's going to walk up to the truck. We're like, okay, we're driving. I'm like, that's how it's going to play off, So we're driving. We end up going to this place. That wasn't Miracle Mountain yet, but I knew that place because I was one of my buddies that lived in Cle Elum. He showed me this area to hunt. So I've seen animals in that area. So I ended up pulling up to this mountain on the bottom. We ended up parking. I was like, all right. We took some chairs out, unfolded them, put them on the back of the truck, the back bed of the truck, just camping chairs. Sit down on the back of these camping chairs, back of the bed. And it's still dark, probably about an hour of dark left. And we're sitting there, and everything's super quiet. I hear him look over, and he fell asleep. He's sleeping, kind of breathing loud. And I'm like, yo, quiet down, dude, And as soon as the light hit, and I'm looking to my right, and I hear a shuffle, and I look to my left, and there's a 5x buck looking into the bed of my truck. And I dropped him right there.
And you're like, wait a minute.
As soon as the sun came up, as soon as shooting hour, 5x buck, dropped him right there. So from that day on, it started becoming Miracle Mountain.
Were you faith-based then?
Oh yeah, I've been faith-based my whole life.
So you think God sent that buck to be killed?
God moves mountains.
I know, but you think like killing an animal is something God wants you to do?
He made animals for us to eat.
Did he?
Oh yeah.
See, I always wonder.
Yeah.
Because don't you feel sorry for the animal?
Yeah, no.
Or do you think
I'm not cold, but
or do you think God put it right there for you to kill?
I mean, we kill cows every day.
It doesn't mean it's godlike.
Yeah, but
is there stories of Jesus killing animals? I wonder if that's a good question to ask ChatGPT.
Well, there is. I mean, they used to sacrifice.
Well, they is men. So I'm curious to see if like Jesus actually ever did it.
Fish?
No, animals.
Well, fish is an animal.
No, fish is a fish.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's still a living being, living.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying he's against it.
Yeah.
Just FYI for all the haters that are going to be sending me scriptures.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering because I've never really asked that question.
Well, the Bible says you will be rulers over everything.
Yes, it does say that.
It does.
And the only reason I ask is one time I was out hunting with a couple buddies, and there was this deer, and I shot it, and it didn't kill it. It just dropped it, and we walked over to it, and it was just trying to drink some water when I popped it, and we walked over to it and it was sitting there like going, it was in pain or whatever. I just, I was a kid. And so I point the gun at its head to put it out of its misery because I feel bad. It's sitting there whining and big old eyes and scared. And so I said, man, I got to put it out of its misery. So I put the rifle up to its head and then I turned my face so I don't get any blast into my face. And so I turned my head. And when I did, I must have moved the gun just a centimeter or whatever. And I pulled the trigger and blam, I shot its jaw off. And I look back and now it's really screaming, but its jaw was shot off. And now its eyes are really wide. And I couldn't freaking believe it. My buddy walks over with a big old buck knife and just guts it right on the spot, field dresses it right on the spot, takes the back strap and the good parts and just leaves this heaping mound of steaming flesh. And I never hunted ever again after that because I just thought it was so barbaric and freaking mean and like, man, and I've always questioned, like, are we supposed to be hunting? But then again, you are right. It does say that. But I'm going to search after the podcast. I'm going to go deep and find that out. If anybody's listening and you already know the answer, shoot it in, make a comment. But again, I mean, I don't look down upon hunting. I just want, if you said, hey, let's go hunting, I just feel bad for the frickin' thing. It's just trying to live. And then here we come with these rifles and we kill it.
I mean, look.
And by the way, the grocery store has food. So I'm not doing it for food. Because there's food. Now, trust me, if I'm up in the mountains and anarchy takes over and there's no food, I'm killing an animal for some food. And I think anybody would. But just for sport, to go kill an animal, I always feel like it's mean.
For sport, 100%. If you're trying to get a big rack on your wall, no. I use every animal that I've caught. I don't care how small it is, it's mounted on my walls.
If I go to your house, there's heads everywhere.
Yeah, I got heads. Yeah.
So you're a hunter.
I'm a hunter. Yeah.
Well,
I love it.
It is fun. Outdoors. It is fun. I got to admit that it is fun, but I'm questioning: is it godlike to kill an animal?
Well, Adam and Eve, right? We were never supposed to even experience death, and after the garden, everything started experiencing. We started dying, right? They had to sacrifice. Cain and Abel, you had to sacrifice the lamb. Which one did God take? Something that actually valuable and something that just grows in the ground. He took the offering of the lamb, but he didn't take the offering of the fruit. You know? So that's it. I mean,
something to research.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's easy to go to the store and take a piece of steak, but somebody had to do the dirty work, right? Somebody had to actually shoot that cow in the head, process it, and then you can go over there, just take the steak home. Hey, and those cows, they get treated really bad. They get
terrible.
That's terrible. Yeah, like my animals, we bear, elk, deer all year round.
What do you think the best is?
Depends on what you're doing. Like bear sausage is my favorite by far. Steak, elk, burgers, deer.
So you guys got freezers full of meat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Straight up hunter.
Yeah.
Well, so that was the first miracle.
That was the first miracle, yeah.
God, it's almost a premonition, or you willed it into existence. What was the second one?
Second one, same mountain, was a bear, actually. And it was kind of the same scenario. Except this time we came over there and it was like in August, right when bear opened up, maybe like towards, I don't remember if it was probably the middle of August.
Could you try again?
So it was really hot.
Siri doesn't even understand.
It was really hot. And we end up driving same area with same buddy of mine. And also early in the morning we're driving. And I'm like, we're going to get a bear today. Or this trip. And we were going there for like 3 days or something like that. And I don't think I even called it Miracle Mountain at this point yet. I just knew a miracle happened there. And then we're driving, and I'm like, we're going to get a bear. I said, we're going to get a bear. I know 100% God's going to provide, And we get to the mountain. We're hunting around first day, second day, third day. We're like, man. I'm like, we're hunting these hills, and it's, 80 degrees outside, man. We're like sweating, tired. And I'm just like, God, like, I don't remember exact what I professed when we were driving, but I was like, God, like, we've been here for 3 days, like, and I called it, why isn't it happening, Again, like a child, whatever, but it's kind of, so, and then God just opens up a picture like in my head, and I'm thinking, sometimes like you got to go through these valleys and hills and to see the blessing on the other side. Sometimes you're what do they say? A hard life is an easy life, and an easy life is a hard life.
That's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we're just bushwhacking and sweating. And I'm like, dude, how am I going to get a bear that got the best scent out of all the animals? And I'm soaked. And so, again, I get this voice in my head. It's like, go to that mountain. I'm like, hey, Mike, let's, and this was our last day. We were about to leave that evening. And I'm like, let's go to the mountain. He's like, all right, let's go. And I'm like, so we get down to the mountain, park exact same spot, exact same location, get our chairs out, get in the back of the truck, camping chairs, set them out, exact same thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, like, man, it's so hot. Like I just want at least some kind of cover, something, because like we're just burning up over here, And I look up on the mountain and I see like these, just a random bush, and I'm like saying like, something inside me tells me, hey, tell him the bear's going to walk out of there, Again, childish, whatever you want to call it, And I'm like, dude, but if I do it and it doesn't, I look stupid, Like and I just battled myself a little bit, and my arm just went up, and I pointed up there and I said, hey, Mike, a bear's going to walk out of there. And he's like, oh, I believe it. I believe it. So we sat there within 5 minutes, and I'm just like, God, like, give us some kind of cover. A black cloud, pure blue skies, comes out of nowhere. Just a dark little cloud. And it separates the sun and us. And it's not like I'm there by myself. This guy right here, he knows the stories just as well as I do. He's the one, he saw everything happen. You can't make this stuff up, It literally just, my head is down, and all of a sudden this shade, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that feels so good. And I look up, and there's just one cloud that moves right. And it was literally probably almost exact across the bush. I pointed, sun, cloud. And he just goes right over, and it thunders. In blue skies, thunders. Me and him look at each other like, what the heck was that? A little lightning and thunder came from that little cloud. Maybe 5 minutes, the bear walks out right where I pointed.
Big old bear?
It wasn't a big old bear, I'll be honest. It wasn't a big bear. It was a small bear. It was a freaking bear. I've never seen one in my whole entire life. Boom, dropped him. He's on my wall too. The best sausage I've ever had.
Bear.
A bear, yeah.
So now you also have Prestige Floor or Prestige Flooring Design,
yeah.
Prestige Design 1. Were these already in existence?
Prestige Flooring Design wasn't yet. Prestige Design was.
What were you doing to make money?
I installed flooring for a living, hardwood laminate, any floor, not tile, mostly hard surface like wood flooring.
Have you been doing that for a while now?
Yeah, ever since I did it a little bit when I was in school. That's how I got into it, like on side job. I knew people that were in there. And then I got married. That's when I opened up my own business.
And by the way, you're in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle area?
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you just local there, or do you go anywhere to do floors?
We mostly local. I mean, sometimes we'll go within, hours from us, but nothing further than that. Really.
Have you built it into a big business, or is it still kind of a small mom and pop?
We got I had about, during COVID, when we were doing a lot of low income housing, I had like 35 employees that worked labor. And then it just got too messy. So I kind of switched. Now I got 10.
Constant work coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the two animals are the miracle. To me, I mean, obviously it is kind of a coincidence. Why do you think that's such a miracle? Because you called it ahead of time?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't, it's like, I mean, you don't win a lottery ticket every single year, right? Like if first time, okay, but all hunters know for a deer to walk up to the bed of your truck and look inside, you'll never see that in your whole entire life. Nobody will call that story. For me to call it and it happen, I mean,
So is your faith getting stronger because of this?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, especially like with my son.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. So what happened then?
So within my employees, I had another little one that came out. Kind of, the dude wasn't really a believer, and I was like, I'm gonna take you to this miracle mountain. God's gonna show you something. It might not be an animal, I said, but God's gonna show you something. And we're driving, and he's super excited because he just came from Ukraine. They don't have this kind of opportunities, And he's like, man, when I get home, I'm gonna buy this. And he named like 6-7 different things, including like, I'm gonna get a new backpack, so this and that. And I'm like, oh, cool, and I kind of try to proclaim with him about God, and he's kind of like, yeah, but I told him those two stories. He's like, that's a coincidence. I was like, okay, bro, that's coincidence. I was like, I mean, to the T, to the minute, to the hour. I mean, yeah. I mean, whatever you want to call it. That's no such thing as coincidence, man. I was like, hey, I promise you, God will show you something. Pull up to a gas station, get up to fill up, brand new backpack sitting right next to the pump. It's funny because I opened the door and I started pumping the gas, and then I look back, it was Mike, same guy that's seen everything, and then this new guy that we took with us. And we had our ATVs in the back, so he was super excited. And I was like, what? I looked back and I was like, what the heck is this? It's a brand new backpack sitting there. It's like pitch dark. It's like 4:00 in the morning. There's nobody here. I was like, somebody must have forgot a backpack. I gave it to Mike. He's like, hey, look in it. Maybe you'll find an ID. We can get it returned or whatever. He starts looking. Everything is packaged. Brand spanking new. And we were super hungry. We were on the way there. We're like, man, we should have bought some sausage and some. Not only was the sausage in there and the cheese in there that we called, everything that he named that he wanted to buy was in that backpack, including a note that said, I don't know who this is for, but God heard your prayers. I'm not even kidding you. To the T.
Did everybody start like crying?
He looked like he saw a ghost. Even Mike, he's like, wait a minute, there's a note. And we were speechless. I mean, this is stuff you can't even explain, And people people have a hard time believing in God. Like, dude, it's not a doubt. There's no doubt.
Well, do you think it's God trying to tell you something?
I think these little stories for me, I had to go through them to build my faith to where I'm at now. Like leading up to my son. The only time my wife ever went hunting with me, ever in her whole entire life, ever. She doesn't even like the outdoors. She's not a big outdoors kind of person like me. I'm rugged and clean at the same time, you know? I ended up taking her like, hey, let's go. Just come with me. And I ended up taking my ATV. I was like, let's go. So we ended up going, jumping in the back of my ATV. And I'm like, oh, didn't think nothing at all. And we're driving and getting up into the mountain, blizzard just pounding. And she's freaking out like, oh my goodness, dude, like what the heck? We're driving on my ATV and there's cliffs on the side too, you know? So she's super skilled holding on to me, freezing cold. Get up there. I put up my blind. She's sleeping on a little chair and I'm waiting for the deer, whatever. Goes back. Nothing happened. No deer came out, nothing. She get back in, started driving down the hill and started going back down the mountain. We couldn't wait to get out. We were frozen, man. It was so cold that day. It was crazy. It's like that's the worst day I could have probably took her hunting ever, you know? And we're driving down the mountain and my truck flickers. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. Like, what was that? I thought it was going to shut off on me. I was like, oh, thank God it didn't. We're in the middle of nowhere, you know? So we get back down the hill. We actually get down the hill, get back on the main road. I wanted to check one more place. We went and checked one more place. Nothing special happened, or just walked around a little bit. Start going back down, got on the freeway. About halfway home, my truck just shuts off completely. I'm like, well, thank God at least we're on the freeway. We didn't get stuck in the mountains. And usually I get pretty irritated quick when things don't go the way I want it to go, you know. But I was so calm, man. I was just like, oh, whatever. She called her sister, like, okay, I'll be right there. I'm like, oh, that's cool, you know. I call my tow guy. Okay, I'm on my way. I'm like, oh, cool. So they end up showing up like exactly same time. We get the car towed. Everything turned out so smooth. I ended up like while waiting for them taking the ATV out and just running around on the side of the freeway just for fun. We get home and she's like, babe, I missed my period. And I'm like, you're pregnant. She goes, pfft. I've missed it plenty of times before this. Like, that doesn't mean nothing. You know, I was like, it's only one day. I'm like, no, you're pregnant. Go check. She's like, no, I don't want to get disappointed. It's like, no. It's like, you're pregnant. And I wasn't even thinking about like where we were, why we went there, or nothing. That was just recently where I discovered like, no freaking way. So she goes into the bathroom. She comes out, tears rolling down her face. And that's when she was pregnant with Sebastian. And the only time she's, I don't know.
Why don't you move to Miracle Mountain? If I were you, I'd just live there.
Call it what you want, man. We sat in the exact same place with the bear, the deer. And then that's the only time she'd ever been there. And that's the only time we ever had a child.
How come you haven't went back?
I don't know.
Why don't you go back and do it again?
I know. People told me that multiple times already, man. Like, why don't you make another trip up there? I'm like, maybe I should, you know?
Well, go and see what happens.
Yeah.
What if you come back in 9 months and you got another little one?
Yeah. Hey.
That would be, again, now it's hard to argue that those aren't miracles.
I mean, you can't even argue about it anymore. But I mean, again, let's say it doesn't. Then what, you gonna say that's all fake?
Well, no, I mean, again, it's always a personal thing. There's going to be people listening. They're going to be like, come on, dude. Like, you think that's that? Well, again, coincidentally, you keep going to the same mountain. And why is it called Miracle Mountain in the first place? It wasn't because you named it that. Oh, you named it that. Oh, yeah. I thought it was in existence. There's been rumors of miracles on this mountain.
No, that's my name. I put that name on there. Yeah.
Miracle Mountain.
Yeah.
So it says faith of a mustard seed. What you just had to have faith? What do you think the secret is?
Yeah, it says be like little children in the Bible, like, and I believe too that these stories leading up is like, it sounds silly, right? Like, why would you, call an animal off a mountain or whatever? But I mean, Noah did, right? He called animals into his ark. I mean, God moves mountains. He says that in the Bible. Like, for me to be there at the same time, at the same second, just have a little bit of faith, just just say it into existence and it happened. We all know that. That's true, you know. I'm actually just starting to write a new book, actually. You know the book, The Secret?
Yeah.
I'm calling it It's Not a Secret. It's in plain sight the whole time. It's all in the Bible. And yeah, unbelievers, they might manifest some stuff too, but you know, the devil's not stupid. He tried to give the kingdom to Jesus, you know, on the mountain, right? He would have gave it to him if he said, okay, give it to me, right? He would have gave it to him. So there's a manipulation in manifestation. You could think, oh, well, you know, yeah, I manifested and I don't have to believe. Well, yeah, the devil wants you to think that. He wants you to think that you got all this because it's just because some kind of energy. No, he wants you to think that because you'll never find the real, true God, you know?
Yeah. Well, again,
look at Moses and the snakes, right? He threw his down, they threw theirs down too, created a snake.
What happened there?
Moses threw his snake down to get Egypt out, and they threw theirs, and there's, you know, the snake of God ate up the other snakes, you know.
I haven't read that one yet.
You never read that one?
I must have forgotten.
That was one of the Moses, you know.
You read the Bible on a regular basis?
No, I don't.
Why?
I don't read it. I don't know why. That's a good question. You know the Bible. So like this book that I wrote, I'm not a writer. I suck at reading, writing. My wife corrects me on everything. I suck at it. But that book was written by the Holy Spirit. The Bible was. These people that wrote this book, Paul and all them, you think they're writers? No, he was a murderer. Paul killed Christians, right? But he wrote a book. Somebody that you think would never be able to write a book. I didn't think I could write a book. For me, like when I talk to people about like God and stuff, when I genuinely want them to know the truth, I say things that I didn't even know I'm saying. This book, I wrote things in there that came to me while I was writing the book. So like the Bible, it's super important, obviously, but seek and you shall find. So when you're looking for the truth, God will tell it to you in your brain. And that's how I wrote the book. If you listen, yeah.
So how long did it take you to write the book? 7 days?
Probably about 7 days.
Isn't that a coincidence too?
Yeah, you know, yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't even think of it like that, yeah.
The old 7 days.
Yeah.
Now, dude, obviously you're into fitness. It says keto diet, only cold showers and baths. You don't take warm baths, warm showers?
For about 2 years now. You know, the craziest, again, you could call it coincidence, but so it's been about 2 years where I haven't even taken a warm shower, period. I don't care how cold it is outside, just cold showers. I haven't been sick for 2 years, not once. So Sunday comes around the corner, Monday, right before the podcast, I get a freaking fever. And I'm like, what the, are you right before I'm about to have, you know, meet up with you and this and that, and I get sick. So now I can say what, you know, I got sick now within the 2 years. Yeah, whatever. I got a little sick, you know, but for 2 years, they were sick a couple times a year, here and there, not once.
You think it's from the cold showers?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, humans weren't designed to have a warm shower. Who created a heater? Nobody created heaters. Back in the day, they used to jump in a river and clean themselves off and continue their day, right? Yeah, I think warm shower is just comfort. When you get comfortable, your body doesn't process everything the right way, you know?
So when I'm reading this, you know, all it takes to move mountains is mustard seed. But what happens when that faith is tested? How are you tested?
I think, again, he's 7 now and we still can't have kids again, you know?
Well, why wouldn't you go back to the mountain?
I didn't think about it.
Are you heading back to the mountain as soon as you get home?
Probably just fly up in there.
Well, I mean, if now that you're thinking about it, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
And what if it happens again?
Yeah, 100%.
Would you just start going up there every time?
Yeah, just
Have
build
you
a
ever,
house up there.
have you ever like said, hey, I want to build the business huge, or have you ever said anything that didn't happen?
Not really.
Are you
Not
afraid?
really. No.
Are you afraid that if you go back up there and it doesn't happen, that you would shake your stories and your faith?
No, that's not it either. Because I know God's timing is the perfect timing, and sometimes we can't have an answer to that. And I think, like in the Bible, when the story, what was it? When the story about the guy in hell, and he's like, let me come back and tell my family that this is real. And Jesus goes, even if you came back and told them, they still wouldn't believe you. And you just came in from hell, right? So I think this whole time, like leading up to today, I think God is just building me for different, like you said about businesses and stuff like that. Like I do flooring, and I have the store, but that's not my passion. This is my passion. I don't want to sell flooring. I want to sell Jesus. I want to sell
people to him.
Lead people to him. To like God, the miracles don't just happen in the Bible. The miracles happen today. People just lost faith in the power of speaking words. I think that's my passion. That's my future is turned so at like 360, like what I really want to do.
Have you had near-death experiences?
Yeah.
Like what?
I died.
And?
During COVID.
How?
During COVID. This was, we got COVID, but it wasn't anything serious. I couldn't taste, smell, but it wasn't like there was some kind of symptom that I would have to think I would be worried about, And just one in particular night, we all went to bed, they were sleeping, and I started getting scared. And I don't know why I was getting scared. I'm not a guy that gets scared. Huh?
The media.
100%. Dude,
they were trying to scare everybody. There was grown men, spraying packages for 3 days before they'd touch them.
Freaking, dude, and I was freaking out. I was like, dude, my family can't go without me. I had my son, like he's my world. He saved me, and like I just toss and turning, and I'm like, dude, I can't catch my breath. I'm like, what? And now I'm freaking out, like, what's going on? And I literally felt this weird, like I just couldn't breathe. I felt like I'm gonna just stop breathing right now. And so I was just turning back and forth. All of a sudden I couldn't breathe and I couldn't catch my breath. And then I'm lifting off over my body, and I see my wife, my son sleeping, and me right there. Like me and you talking.
Were you dreaming?
No. Like me and you talking.
And what'd you do?
I freaked out. I freaked out like, no. I said, no, this is not. Well, what's going on? I'm looking down and then I look. So it was our bed right here, and I'm facing this way. And so I'm sitting. So I'm not in my house, but I'm in my house. So I'm like at two different places at once, at the same time. I can see my family and me, and then on my left, I see a cloud, just massive cloud, and then like a cloud of roads, a road out of clouds. I don't know why, God didn't show me the gates, because maybe I wasn't ready to see the gates. But I saw Jesus, and he was kneeling on one knee, and he had it was like I was in such a panic that I didn't even really try to pay attention to every single detail, But there was about four kids, maybe three. They're standing next to him. He was hugging one of them, and there was like three on the side. And all I could say is like, no, this can't be. This is it. That's what I was like, this can't be it. My family, like, they can't go without me. This is my family down there. And Jesus turns his face and he goes, it's not your time, but next time you see this, don't doubt. And I took a breath and I was back in my bed.
How'd that make you feel? Relief?
Yeah, relief, and what the heck did I just see? Like everybody says, everybody, let's say, says they believe, but it wasn't like, this is not a cloud memory. It wasn't like, oh, maybe you can say maybe he went to bed and woke up. No, it was like me talking to you. This is as real as you could touch, feel. I remember like every part of my life everything that I've done. You could explain it, but you can't really explain it.
But if you believe so much and you keep getting these shots of evidence, like, why aren't you into the Bible every day and doing everything the Bible says to do?
Well, I do what the Bible says to do. I know the Bible.
Well, you haven't read it in very much.
No, I read it. I do read it in the mornings. I read it and I read scripture. I go to Bible studies. We have our church has this on every Friday at 6 a.m. We go to this thing and we go to Bible studies and we study scripture.
6 a.m?
Yeah.
Why so early?
God first, everything else follows, man.
What time do you get up in the morning?
5:36.
Do you have a routine?
Yeah.
What's the routine look like?
Usually I'll get up like 5:30. And then if it's not like on a Fridays with the Bible studies, then I'll go to the gym. I'll go work out. I started doing a little bit of personal training in my gym. The guy that owns the gym, I kind of known him for a long time since he opened up the gym. So kind of asked me if I would be willing to it. Like, oh, okay, sure, But that's kind of, it's not really anything promising, just helping him out, But yeah, first I'll go to the gym, then I'll run to the store, run errands, haul around my dump trailer to job sites and whatever I got to do to keep the projects going and stuff like that. So
that's just a normal day.
That's a normal day. Yeah. Yeah.
If someone asked you, why should I believe in miracles? What would you tell them?
Why should you believe in miracles? Well, for me, it's there's no doubt in my mind, To other people, it'd be like, try him. What do you have to lose? Infertility, whatever, diseases. I love the story in the Bible where, Jesus spits into the dirt to put over the guy's eyes, And the question is kind of like, why would he didn't have to do that, right? He could just say, hey, you can see, or think, or the guy would be able to see, right? So my kind of thing is, he's so merciful that he gave us medicine, that through medicine we can believe that we can be better, because we're so faithless that we can't just believe and get better. So this guy probably is like, oh, wow, he's putting dirt in my face and I got to go wash it off. It's probably some kind of medicine, some kind of secret, thing that I have to do. And just through that he had gained enough faith to be able to see. I mean, it's pretty powerful, We're like, it's the same with our lives. We got doctors and stuff, we just, but realistically, I mean.
Have you always been into fitness?
Always, yeah.
And you're on the keto, you say?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like strictly, permanently?
Yeah, about 15 years now, probably. So no sugar, no sweets at all. I haven't had fast food for ever since I started. Probably.
What do you eat?
Meat, a lot of good fats, steak, chicken, burgers, lettuce wrap burgers.
What happens when you read these articles? They'll tell you your cholesterol is going to go through the roof and you're going to be unhealthy.
Been on it for 15 years. They can say what they want.
You get your blood work done?
I got it done probably about 7 years ago, and they did say I had in my blood I had high cholesterol, but then it was a naturopath doctor. They're like, well, that's because your body runs off of it. So it usually burns most of it by the end of the day, So it's different if it's just sitting in there. And so when I started working out, I had a really hard time gaining mass. I had fast metabolism. So if I don't have enough like calories, carbs, or whatever, I burn muscle mass like within a week. I feel weaker the next day, And I've had that, man, I don't know, man, 5-6 years, couldn't go up in weight, just really hard. I would probably have to eat like a pig, to be able to gain some. So I had some relatives that started keto and they said they loved it. They loved the way they felt. So I was like, whatever, I'll try it. And I ended up trying it for a month. Loved the way I feel, energy, started getting stronger. And then I went off of it, didn't like how I felt. And so I've never been back ever since. And ever since I got on keto, without carbs, I got stronger than I ever thought I could have got.
So you're sold on the keto plan.
Yeah.
Most people try it, and after a while it stops working. I tried it. I like it. It seems to work for me. Mm-hmm. But eventually, like, dude, I crave, carbs.
Yeah.
What do you do when you crave carbs? You have no cravings?
Berries.
Yeah, but I'm talking about bread.
I mean, I'll
toast, English muffin.
They have like keto bread now and stuff like that too. My wife she baked bread once in a while, like keto bread, which is really good. But you end up not having those cravings really that much after a while.
Is fitness like important to you?
I believe it's your temple. Your body's your temple. Everything I try to do, I try to refer it back to the Bible, right? Even like keto. I'd say keto. If you go back in the day where, let's say, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they were all hunters, right? Again, they didn't have warm showers. Again, the water wasn't very plentiful, right? So vegetables were really hard to grow. So they would go hunt, kill their meat, and on the way, maybe find some berries, throw some berries in their mouth and continue hunting. Again, they didn't eat breakfast, right? They didn't wake up and whip up some eggs. They went and got some food, So I don't eat until noon, 1, 2 o'clock, kind of the same way. If you kind of compare it to like, how would people live without the comfort that we have now with the stores and everything else? Like, how do you think you would wake up in the morning? What would the first thing you do?
Grab my gun, go get some food.
Go get some food, yeah.
Or what about food that I had from yesterday?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess, how I don't like, even in those days, right? Like, they might have been able to store it for a day or two, but I don't think they could have stored it. They didn't have refrigerators, might have dug a hole in the ground to make it cooler a little bit. But
why do you think God answers some people and shows them miracle after miracle, and some people are desperate without seeing any miracles?
Well, I think that it depends on, I think God knows us more than we know ourselves, right? Like, let's say there's successful people and there's not successful people. And some people, like, we grew up in a really strict Pentecostal, Ukrainian Pentecostals. And they believe like, getting to heaven, a rich man getting into heaven is like a camel going through an eye of a needle, right? And they'll believe that, like, for sure. And they'll literally live within their means their whole life and not be successful, just have a regular job,
They believe that being rich is going to prevent you from going to heaven.
Yeah. Like,
because of that scripture that talks about the camel through the eye of the needle.
Yeah.
Well, they realize that it's not an actual needle they're talking about.
Yeah, they don't, though. I don't think they realize that.
Yeah, because if it were, it's impossible for a camel to go through an eye of a needle.
You wouldn't go to heaven. Yeah.
Yeah, and Solomon, that was one of God's favorite, according to the stories in the scripture. Solomon, he was very wealthy. Yeah?
Yeah. And
Jesus was successful.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. And most of the people, Peter had his own commercial fishing business. I mean, he was around tax collectors. He was with all the successful people.
You ever hear that story where there was a monastery or some sort of church where they built it and the guy couldn't build the stairs, and so the guy left or died or something. Long story short, they needed these stairs to be built. Well, they waited and prayed for the money to build the stairs, till one day some old man shows up and stays at the church and builds these stairs and disappears. No payment needed, didn't do anything, just showed up, built the stairs, and left. To this day, the best stair makers in the world travel to this place to figure out how these stairs were built, and it's all out of wood, and it's like 100%, like almost impossible to make this spiral staircase at this place. And again, even to this day, I've read many articles where people go and they're like, we don't understand how this was built. Like, to get this perfect and this dialed in with this kind of wood and da-da-da-da-da, like, it's just impossible. And nobody knows who that guy was, just came, left. And, Jesus was a carpenter.
Yeah.
So again, everybody's trying to insinuate, well, that was God that built the stairs. Now, that's kind of a trippy story. How many stories have you heard other than your own that people have shared with you for miracles?
Well, we in our community, a Ukrainian community, I mean, we've had we had a lot of people with miracles that happened in their lives. Her parents in particular, they go to they live in Eastern Washington, and they have a pastor there, but he's like a native, and he would actually go to, people would come over here to him for prayers, and he has the gift of like just seeing different, demons, and a lot of people with back problems and this and that. He would pray for them, and God would deliver them, and a lot of those, he would actually see snakes like wrapping spinal cords, and he would rebuke him. And even her mom's best friend had back problems for her whole life. And then within maybe just, I believe it might be wrong, like 4 years ago, 5, she went there and completely healed all the way.
Do you find it odd that you've never like asked for a miracle to be rich or to get your business big? Like, all these miracles was like, you just want an animal to show up. You don't want millions and millions of dollars. You just want an animal. Do you think there's any coincidence there where like you really don't have all these financial miracles? They're all just.
We did. Well, we got married at 19 years old. Me and my wife going to be married 20 years in September. We were broke. I mean, I bought my house at 19, my first house. We were living paycheck to paycheck. There was a particular moment where we're sitting in church and we got no money at all. There was like zero in the account. And I'm like, and a voice inside says, hey, give $200. And I'm like, $200? That's all I got is $200, you know? So I end up, whatever, maybe just give them $200. Like, we don't probably have $200. Okay, whatever. She gives them $200 a couple days later. Like, hey, check our account, you know, like maybe I'll ask my dad to pay me early. During that time, I actually worked with my dad for a couple of years too, doing finish work. And she ends up checking an account and we have like $1,200 in there. She's like, did you deposit money? I'm like, no. Did you? Like, no. Like, where did the money come from? It's like, I have no idea. You know, it's like, do you want to call the bank? And then I'm kind of hesitant because I'm like, if you call the bank and they find out they made a mistake, they're going to take the money away from us, you know? So we're kind of like in this between. I'm like, just do it. Just call the bank. They had no trace of how that money got into it. In or out. I mean, this is our personal experience.
You can vouch?
Yeah. Like this is.
Well, I don't know why you guys wouldn't be like at church all day running around in robes, you know, preaching.
We're not that kind of, no.
I know, but if I got miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle, like pretty soon, if you believe that much, like I'd be in the Bible every day. Why? Because, you know, that's the word.
Well, the word is in here though. That's in every day. Like when I need, like there's times I meet with people and I start a conversation, I have to write that conversation down. I was like, there's no way that was me speaking. There's no way I came up with that. Like when the Spirit, when you want, not for your will, not for your glory, but for His glory, God will open up the Bible for you. He will tell you what to say at the right time, at the right place. I think people just, the Bible, obviously it's the Holy Bible. Obviously it's our foundation of our life. But just because you read it, that doesn't, you know, our parents used to be like, or people that even our churches, like our strict churches, they read every single day, this and that, but I would never want to be most of those people, to be honest. Never my whole entire life. Like you're miserable, you look like you're not happy, you're like, you read the Bible, like it doesn't really define who you really are, you know? Most of those people actually think they're a better person because they do it. That's not true. God doesn't care about, He doesn't need any of that from you. He needs your heart. That's what God needs from you, you know? And so when your whole life is based off of like his glory, like for me, like you're talking about like my financial, I believe like just recently where I'm like, God, you know, like I'm sick and tired of worrying about bills because that's what the devil wants, that I have less time to serve you or to help bring people to you, you know? So just recently we're building up to this with the book and everything else where God's like starting to open up where, hey, it's going to happen very soon where I'm not going to have to worry about that. And the only thing that I really want to worry is about, you know, again, selling Jesus, you know, telling people like, hey, these miracles are real. It's not just in the Bible. It's today. It's now. You just have to believe, man. That's it. You know.
So you writing a second book?
Yeah.
This book's available where?
Amazon. You Google it and it'll pop up on Barnes and Noble's. Amazon.
Have you done the audio?
No, I haven't done the audio yet, but I'm working on trying to get that done.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that would download it, but they won't go buy it. When I came out with my book, I, moved, 20,000, 30,000. And like, I didn't really promote it very much, but once I downloaded it on audio, boom, 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 boom. So there's a big audio audience. If I were you, I'd put it in audio if you're really trying to make an impact.
Okay.
The book's got a lot more in it than just what you talked about. What else? Why would I buy this book? What will it teach me?
It's got my stories, and plus it'll also give you like a picture about like what faith really is. Like, planting a seed, it growing without a farmer nurturing it, without a farmer clipping it. It'll make you see faith, not just something that's invisible. You'll actually see something. It'll open up your eyes where you'll actually see faith as an existence, where like, well, it starts from, I love that phrase, when you're in a dark place, you thought you got buried, but you actually got planted. Well, that's what faith is. Sometimes you think you're going through these hard times. Like my life wasn't easy. Like I've been abused, man, and it's been tough. I tell you what. But sometimes, God puts you through those storms to build you to what He wants you to become. Like we work out, right? It sucks. You don't want to be there most of the time, 80% of the time. You go there, you break your muscles again and again and again, and then all of a sudden you look pretty good, That's a very, very good description about how faith is, He'll break you little time at a time. And eventually. So
what do you hope your next miracle is?
I don't really look at it like that. I think mine is more to reach people and to be, to help people.
Have you prayed about that?
About what? About
being able to make that impact?
Yeah. I believe 100. I know 100%. And I really appreciate you having me here, man. I think this is the stepping stone where God just twisted it around for me. Where, just not long ago, actually, I sat there and I'm like, I wake up every single morning and my job, pays the bills. Okay. I do see people and I do make an impact because in construction field, I see new clients every single time. You can make a big difference in people. There's this one client not long ago, put every cuss word he can into me, I was like, man, I'm so sorry. Like my guys should have never done what they did, this and that. And then, a few weeks later down the road, he goes, I've never seen anybody stood like that. Because I'm a Christian guy, but I got a lot of things to work with. We're the light of the world. And I want to show more and more of God's light to people. And just now I'm figuring out, like, God's opening up, like meeting Andy Elliott, like those guys are amazing. Like I met, so they're on fire, man. Like you'll see them on the stage, and I had an epiphany kind of with them, because you see them on stage and they're crying, and I'm like, dude, they changed my life. Like I had one event with them and I just flipped. I'm like, oh, well, I wrote a book, this and that, now I'm here, but so we had like a meet and greet at the end, and this and that, and they were all like so tired, and I'm like, of course. Remember when Jesus walked in earth and a lady touched him? It was like, I felt a power come out of me. Those guys pour everything into people that they have. Imagine how hard that would be. When did they get? If you're not Christian,
what do you say to the haters of him?
They could say whatever. They just hate because he did it.
Yeah, I try to tell people, they're hard on him, and I'm like, listen, dude, I've never heard him say a bad word about anybody.
No. Look.
And I've talked to him like behind the scenes many, many, many times, and I would have known or heard him say something to the effect of his intent. In other words, like, so for example, yeah, I'm whacking people for X, or, you know, oh, we're killing them. I got people paying X just to come cold plunge with me. You know, he's never said anything like that. He literally, in my experience, has only wanted and tried to get that effect on people that you're saying he's had on you. So when I see all this hate, I'm like, dude,
when's the last time you touched somebody or helped somebody anything?
Boom.
Dude, man, this guy brings dudes to become better men, better husbands, better fathers. Like, what? Like, what the heck are you talking about? Let's say he's lying. Freaking fake it till you make it, bro. Do that. Like, but you're changing people's lives. I just met him 3 months ago, 4, and I wrote a book. And now my life is completely swept around. And you know, it's not even him in particular. It's the spirit that you can hear 2 sermons, right? You can hear 2 sermons. You can hear the sermon, exact same words, exact same scripture. One will make you cry, one will make you sleep. It's not what's in the word, it's what's behind the word. Those guys are fired. Like they have this fire. And yeah, they're not perfect. We're not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Yeah, maybe they got some history or something. Yeah, whatever. Like, when's the last time you made a difference in anybody's freaking life and you're able to talk crap? That blows my mind. Like, I don't understand. I don't, it pisses me off because I know, like, I've met them personally and just that little bit. I was always a fire-driven dude. Took care of myself, gym, being a good dad, being a good husband, you know, like, and I'm still working at it to this day. Well, my brain shifted, man. I was like, we have a different, our purpose in this world. Like, people don't realize that our purpose is not to go build a house. That's not what God created us for. Our purpose is to bring people to Christ. That's our real purpose. So everything you do it like you do it for him. And those guys, I mean, they lay it all out on the freaking table. You can't expect them to. Who do they turn to? If they didn't have God, I don't understand how they can. I don't understand that. Me, I'm the kind of guy, like, in my family and my group of people that, you know, oh, somebody needs something. Oh, I'm there for you, bro. I'm there. I got you. Boom, 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 boom. I don't have people like that until I met, like, Andy and them, where I was like, wow, dude, people I look up to. Like, your podcast, I love listening to your stuff. Like, the wisdom behind the stuff you guys say, man, it's not just something that you made up on the top of your head. You know, that's the wisdom that God gives you when you really look for it. Seek and you shall find, you know. And for them to stand out there and bring the fire out to people and touch people's lives, why do people pay that kind of freaking money? Because it's not even about the money. You go to church, you give your tithe, that's not about the freaking money. God doesn't care about your money. It's about, are you willing to let go of something that's material? You know? Are you willing to let that part of you go to receive something that's priceless? And most of the people can't. And that's where they get stuck. No, I'm not going to do it. Well, good luck. You can live your whole life, the rest of your life, trying to figure things out, hate the people that actually make a difference. And then you're just going to be blinded your whole life running around chasing dreams that are not even existent, you know?
You got any aspirations to become like what they're doing? Like coaching and.
That's exactly, yeah. I told my wife the other day, is like, I don't want to be like a pastor in a building, but I want to be a pastor of, like, just everyone, you know, just a man, just be
an example.
Be an example, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're doing a good job so far. Folks, listen, you want to support the dude, go get his book. If you're in the Cle Elum area, go stop by Miracle Mountain, see if it does anything for you. But you can follow them. Where do they follow you on social media?
I've never done social media before because it would be too time consuming. I got too much stuff going on. But Prestige Fit is my new one that I just opened up not long ago, and it's kind of more like, yeah, it involves my son, and I post a lot about him. It's because one of my biggest thing on there is like, don't expect your children to be something that you're not. So kind of, I guess, striving towards that coaching.
Well, if you're going to get into coaching, dude, you better start hitting social media.
Yeah. And that's, and these days and age, I know back then maybe it was a little bit different, but now if you want to reach people, like really reach people, you have to start getting into that.
You don't have time
Yeah.
not to.
Yeah.
If your plan is to make an impact, because that's the new television. That's the new way to reach people. Fortunately, it's still, free. So like if I were you, every day I'd be posting 3 to 4 videos online every single day. Doesn't matter what people are saying. I'll text Andy sometimes and be like, dude, man, you see this? You see this? He's just like, brother, the bigger you get, the more hate you get. So you'll be getting some. People will be claiming that you're a scam artist and all you're trying to do is get them to buy your program. But folks, anybody in the online business that's out there selling courses and doing it, there's some dirt balls, but there's some dirt balls doing floors. There's some dirt balls in construction. There's people that'll show up to your house, you'll pay them a deposit and never see them again. So there's dirt balls everywhere, but it doesn't mean everyone's a dirt ball. I think it matters, like you said, what's in your heart, what's behind everything. And I think if you have good intentions and you take the action, then anyone can make it, especially if you have faith of a mustard seed.
Yeah.
Especially if you go to Miracle Mountain or at least get the book. Dude, I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
You're a good dude.
Appreciate it, man.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hopefully one of these days we'll have you back and we'll see if you went up there and got a second one.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Let's do it.
Folks, go get the book. Go follow them. Till next time, keep it real.